There's 8 bolts, all nice and shiny, almost the same size, plenty good for what they're supposed to do, which is just hold on a supercharger. Well, I'm trying to make some supercharger blower studs here. They sell for about $100 or something with this sort of setup, and what I'm trying to do is make them like this out of aluminum. The threading is set up good. I've threaded a couple here. I need to sort this out, whether I'm going to put a shoulder on this nut here or just leave it alone. But basically I'm just going to make a set of 8 of these. I get about $10 a piece out of these bolts. And once I get it set up, then I'll be able to make a set of these blower pop-off studs pretty easily. So that's what I'm doing. I've got this all set up here for my gears and everything. I've got everything aligned and Delron bushings in there, which is a hard plastic, so the lathe runs much better. My cover won't go on it because I got this big banjo bolt here, but I may modify that so I can put the cover on it. That'll make it a little quieter. But the lathe's running good and it's threading good. My little setup here for the drive seems to be working fine, and I'm going to continue and try to make me some more of these bolts. Now here's 2 different bolts. I don't know how well this camera is going to show it, but I actually went too deep on this one, and the threads are very sharp. If you look at this one, you can see they're not quite as sharp, but basically I ruined this bolt. It'll go in, it'll screw and everything, but the threads are just way too thin, and it'll probably just strip off. Also, I've got a threading tool here that I just ground. I'm not sure how accurate that is. Mostly what I've been trying to do is get this lathe to cut threads correctly. And but anyway, I'm going to lose that one bolt. I'll have to just be careful and make sure that I thread these things properly. Well, here's one of the operations. I'm cutting off the good bolt. And this is a cutoff tool, and I'm just slowly feeding it in. Might be a little short here. I'll need to figure out how to thread it better. But you can see as I just feed in the cutoff tool, it'll just keep on going in until finally the bolt is cut off, and then I'll check it with a nut and see how good it is. Now, one of the first actions here is to cut this 6-sided bar down. I've got it right now on the lowest speed. I'm going to go to about middle. Yeah, it's cutting pretty nicely. And then I'm gonna change my lathe speed here to the medium. Yeah, that's much better. It takes a while to cut this down. I'm taking a small cut because it's interrupted cut. But I'll take this right down to the shoulder of the bolt. I've got my insert set in there so it's square. this, and you can see the progress as we go. Alright, well, we got it turned down to past where it's having the interrupted cut. We got straight shaft. So we're going to take off about let's see, 5, 10, 15, that's about 30 thousandths on the overall. Gauge the speed, and it's taken off 30 thousandths cut in aluminum, pretty easy. I can probably speed this up, but at least you can see what it's doing here. I'll continue till I get it down close, and then I'll show you how to get the other shoulder. Well, here's a faster speed. I didn't really take any on it. Let's take it about another 10, 15,000. Yeah, that's pretty good there. This is about the speed that I can tolerate. Could probably go even faster, but it's good enough for now. Go back. Probably about 25,000. So it's coming down pretty good speed. I'll just finish up this bolt and take a look at it after. Well, I'm using a different tool now to cut this off. I've got the automatic feed set. I'm taking about, well, there's 15,000, that's 30,000 total. 15,000 aside. Cutting pretty nice. There's another 15. So I'll just continue whittling this down until I've got the bolt at the correct diameter. Alright, I got the threads cut here. Threads are cutting just fine. I had to adjust a little bit because of my cutting tool, but I'm just cutting this bolt off right now. And once I get it cut, then we'll just clean up those threads and see how good this bolt looks. Well, I got the thread cut, cleaned up. You can see a bolt goes on it perfectly fine, beginning to end. So the lathe is cutting threads perfectly. I actually ran a die over that, but basically we got a really good bolt. Well, here we got 3 bolts. They're all pretty much the same. I tried them in the blower. They work just fine. And out of that I wound up 2 bad ones. One, the threads cut too deep, and the other one I turned down too small. But 3 good ones and 2 bad ones. It's actually not too bad for starting to learn what to do here. Now I can mark my next big 12-inch piece and start cutting some more out. Well, I got a 12-inch bar in here. The first thing we're going to do is we mark out how long everything is. I left myself a 1/4 of an inch there for the hole, and then next thing here, next groove is where the threads will go, and then of course the head of the bolt. So I'll get some good measurements on these marks, and then I can make each bolt exactly the same. But right now I'm just gonna start running, just turning this piece down to where I've got the diameter of the bolt I need. Well, it's cutting pretty good here. I'm not taking that big, like 20 thousandths. I wound up with extending the tool out of the chuck a long ways there, mostly so I can clear this end holder. But the aluminum's pretty soft, so I think I'll be okay. Once I can get this bolt turned here, I can always pull this back. Well, we're taking off about 20 thousandths. See, there's maybe a pretty good chip. Moving along fine. Got set on C3, something like that. Actually making a thread, and we'll back her up, take another 20, 10 thousandths per side. Now let's keep going until I'm close to where it's at, and then I'll make a finer cut. By the way, I'll show you something here. We're halfway through. I'm at my fastest speed there. I slowed it down to the slowest speed. You can see the difference in the quality of the cut. Easy enough to use a gearbox. Wait till I pull this thing out here, and then I kill it. Well, now I'll go back to fastest speed. Take another, I'm going to take 15 this time, that'd be 30 total. Cutting 15 pretty good. Struggling a little. Basically it's because of that belt. I'll fix that. I'm just going to turn this down tonight. And then I'm going to glue some stuff down here. Put a new belt on it. Take another 20. So this is all we do, is just back it up, crank it in, back it up, crank it in. People that know how to run the lathe, it's probably very boring to you. But these are just some of the steps that I'm doing to make this set up. Lower bolts. Now here's our final pass. This should be within a couple thousandths. Notice I'm taking the 2 slow speeds here. It's about as fine as it's going to cut. But with the insert, this triangular thing here, that's probably plenty good enough for what I want. It'll have a nice shiny appearance and be uniform. Not like it's a hard steel machine surface. This will look just fine. Well, I JB welded this stuff, which is like a super epoxy. I should clean up. I've got a new belt here. My old one's got a little starting to come unglued. Anyway, I ordered these belts a long time ago. They sent me a new one to try. I've got the wrong glue in it. I've got it. There's two kinds of glues. One's a rubber glue and one's a nylon. Nylon is on the inside, rubber's on the outside. My rubber glue was hard, but I put the nylon glue on it. I don't know if this is going to be strong enough, but if it is, it'll probably make the lathe run a little better, and I can get a little better finish on this, a final finish. Anyway, we're going to fire it up and see if it worked. Well, the new belt seems to be running fine. I'm going to try to put the old one over the top of it and see if that'll make any difference. Looks like everything down here is turning pretty straight. No flex. So, and it sounds like it's running better. I can see it wiggling a little, but very little. I'm going to try doubling that belt to see if it helps. Well, everything looked good here. Threaded that bolt, cut it off. I've left just about a quarter of an inch there on the end to trim the bolt to the right size. And now I'm just going to start turning this thing down to the correct shaft size. Well, here we have a interrupted cut. I got about 15 thousandths. Not very fast speed or anything. 510, there's 15 thousandths. As long as it's interrupted, I'm going to just take slow cuts, and then I'll speed up the speed here. I've got it set on the lowest speed right now. Well, here on medium speed, it's kind of funny. I left both these belts on, but the green one's a little longer. That's one of the reasons I want to get rid of it. It's causing the pulley there to hit the wall. This one seems to be running fine, and I'm going to turn in 15 thousandths here, and it's taking 15 thousandths. That's 30 thousandths total. Taking it real nice. I have my speed set at a medium low speed, so far so good. I can dial in 10 this time just to see the difference in the cut. That's a little thinner cut, but it's not pulling the motor or anything down. Actually, that double belt system sort of helps be stronger a little bit. Anyway, I'm going to continue here, and I'll get down to a fine cut, and I'll show you that. Well, here's the final pass. I've got the speed set at the lowest right now. Making a beautiful cut. I haven't checked it yet, but I'm pretty sure this is exactly right. Just a screw anyway. But anyway, it looks like it's doing a wonderful job. I was able to hog it down real quick. My final pass is going to turn it into a real beautiful piece of work. Well, it's 25,000. It's supposed to be 20. So right now this is taking off about 2 thousandths side. Yeah, it looks fine. Producing a real nice finish. The belt has helped the lathe be much more stable, and I can really see it in the finished cut here. The next step, we set up for threading. Well, here's Mr. Bolt done. Cut to the right length. Right now I'm just cutting it off with a parting tool. Need to adjust my belts here. Yeah, there's the finished product. Just needs a little cleaning up, but I'm getting this technique down. Looks like it's the easiest to turn one bolt at a time, less tool changes. So I'll make a few more here. I'll try to get a whole set so I can get pictures of them. Yeah, this one's roughed out. I'm doing the final cut now. Within a couple thousandths, which is plenty good for a bolt. But looks like I got the technique down. Well, I'm putting the final touch on these bolt heads. I'm just cleaning them all up here. 2 thousandths. So we have something that looks like this. Make a nice end on it. And here's this one. I grounded it, but it don't look too good. So all I'm going to do is put it in here. Run the lathe up till it touches. Take it out. Lock the carriage. Turn in about 2 or 3 thousandths. Get the gauge of it down here. And it should be taking a pass across there right now. It is. It's so little you really can't see it. So I'll just stop this. Dial in another 5 thousandths. Start it again. And this should make a clean pass across there this time. Alright, there's 8 bolts. All nice and shiny. Almost the same size. Plenty good for what they're supposed to do, which is just hold on a supercharger. And I can put these up now on eBay for sale. It's taken me about a day to do 8. And out of these 8, I got 2 here that I ruined. This one's too small, plus it's the wrong size, and this one would have been a good bolt, but it slipped out of the chuck and chewed up the edges, so I ruined this one. This is actually a really nice bolt too, perfect size. I may go ahead and cut this one down anyway. Even with a gouge on it, it's still a good bolt.